Hola niños, thank you guys for stopping by and checking out this video on Cultura y Comunidad, culture and community. As you guys have already seen in the Canvas website, our theme for the unit is going to be who we are, and our central idea is culture influencing who we are and how we interact with others. So before getting into our lines of inquiry, we're going to define some of these terms, including culture and the others that we interact with here today. This week, we're going to be talking about Cultura y Comunidad. Before we get started, I want you to take a moment and think of how you would answer these questions. What do these words mean to you? Where have you heard them before? Why do you think they might be important to learn more about? And where can we find more information about these ideas? Let's get started. Comunidad. A comunidad is a group of people living, working, or learning in the same place that have things in common. Comunidades can share a whole bunch of different things, including ideas, beliefs, values, identities, languages, food, goals, interests, or even places like schools, websites, or cities. And I know you're thinking, what do you mean sharing like a website? Well, think about maybe your favorite YouTubers. Imagine that there's a community of YouTubers who like to talk about a specific thing. Maybe they like to talk about Fortnite. So you have a bunch of creators talking about content about Fortnite, and they all get together and they share ideas. They have a little community of Fortnite YouTubers. You are part of a comunidad of learners. Your classroom is its own comunidad, and you are part of a learning community that shares your classroom, whether you're online, virtually, or whether you're there in person. You and your teachers have agreed on how you participate in making the classroom a happy place, how you reach goals and learning objectives. You've agreed on how to turn in assignments, how to act when you're on Zoom or when you're in class, how to treat others, and practice the values of the IB. And your classroom is part of an even bigger community of learners that is your school. Can you think of what other comunidades you are a part of? Cultura. Culture, or cultura, is a way of life. It's something that you do. It's a collection of practices that makes you part of a unique comunidad. Parts of culture can include food, music, clothing, art, beliefs, traditions, and even religion. We've talked before about Mexican culture, culture of different regions around the world in our class before. But cultura can depend on a bunch of things. It can depend on where you grew up, how you were raised. It can be different for everybody. If we talk about like Texas culture, for example, we will be talking about the history of our state and the food, the clothing like the big cowboy hats, and the monuments that make it unique. If we were to talk about Mexican American culture, we'd be talking about a blending of traditions from Mexico and the United States that could include anything from the languages that we talk in to the special kinds of clothing that we wear, the food that we like, the entertainment or music that we listen to, the folk tales that we tell, and the way we celebrate certain holidays. Let's dive deeper into our comunidad. This week we'll spend some time focusing on our learner community in the Spanish classroom by discussing the IB attributes that we share and creating an essential agreement of the practices we would like to see in class, whether we're there in person or whether we're only there virtually online. But first, I want to talk a little bit more about the members of our comunidad, especially those very special people who have important jobs serving people like you and me in San Antonio, the larger community that our classrooms and schools are in. Let's take a look at some of these people and reflect on how they serve our community. Here are some miembros de la comunidad, members of the community. We have right here un cocinero, a chef, un jardinero, a gardener, un policía, a policeman, una dentista, a dentist. Here we have una enfermera, a nurse, un bombero, a fireman, and una maestra, a teacher. Now maestra is feminine. If your teacher is a woman, she'd be a maestra. If your teacher is a man, he would be a maestro. Here we have un cartero. What do you think cartero means in English? Let's see, he's carrying a letter and a bag full of mail. Un cartero is a postman or a mailman. Here we have un soldado, a soldier. Here we have un basurero, a trash collector. Think of how important the people who collect our trash are to our city. Without them, our trash would just pile up and we'd have no place to put it. These are the people responsible for cleaning up our neighborhoods and making sure that the trash that we don't want around gets to landfills. Here we have un carpintero. What do you think a carpintero is in English? See, he has a piece of wood right here and a martillo, a hammer. A carpintero in English is a carpenter. They build things. Can you think of other members of our comunidad? Anybody that we've missed or haven't talked about yet?